Sports Show. I'm your host, God Chow, first of his name. And I am joined today by a very special guest, Anna _Lewis 35 from Twitter of the Say It Again Network. Avid, rabid, diehard Titans fan. And I do want you to, welcome to the show. Let's go. Little clap. I do actually want to get you to talk a little bit about yourself, because just by reading your bio, I can see that it says you were a coach. You're a podcaster. You have you do breakdowns and stuff. When I just follow you on Twitter, you're always posting, I guess, not just opinions, but facts and interesting things outside of just opinions. But you bring up other topics that I find informative. So welcome to the show. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
And
thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, I mean, as far as when you were coaching, I guess what was one of your more, I guess, memorable experiences or kind of takeaways from your time as a coach on the D line?
So I'll give you two because they're both short. Probably the most memorable thing, and something that will stick out in my mind my entire life, is so Tennessee Tech is a small school, not very good at football. I was going there for school. I was not going there for a football team. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
And they're not the best. But we got paid to go be University of Tennessee's homecoming game. And got to go out to Neyland, and I'm from Tennessee, and I'm not a Tennessee fan, but my dad is an alum. So we got to go and go in the locker rooms and be on the field. And I was, I always held my job during the game, because I wasn't the D-line coach. I was a defensive quality control coach. So I worked kind of wherever I wanted on the defense, but I always gravitated towards the front seven. So it was my job to identify personnel during the game. And I had my little signs.
Okay.
So Josh Dobbs was still playing at that time. And when the game was over, I mean, we got our butts handed to us. It was so bad. It was embarrassing, but it was just crazy because I'm standing in the middle of one of the most iconic college football fields ever.
Stadiums,
it was cool. It was so cool. But Josh Dobbs was like, "Are you coaching?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm on the coaching staff." And he was like, "Oh, that's dope." And I was like, "This is pretty cool." And he probably doesn't even remember that, because homecoming's not a day maybe.
You never know. He might, who knows how many other times he's seen female coaches on the sideline. So it could be just
And at that time, my coaching staff told me I was the first. Now, I don't feel like going through NCAA to figure out
get your little
true.
2 minutes of shine in your.
I'm not interested in doing all that, but
it might be worth it though. Now you got a podcast and you're doing the network thing. It might be worth it to go back and get that pub and maybe get you a Sports Center special.
Maybe
and you be hey, yeah, and also check out my podcast next day.
Go check out my
50,000 new subscribers. You're yes,
right? maybe it just got. Anything to do with the NCAA is not super easy, but it might be worth it eventually to just go see, hey, was I really the first? Because my coaching staff was blowing smoke up my butt if I wasn't. But they told me I was. So that's memory number one. And then from a coaching perspective, I just remember I had a guy, he was a defensive end. We're in a small school, so the guys are not built the way they are if they're in an SEC or Big Ten program. They're smaller. This guy was... Yeah, he was 6'4", maybe 6'5", 250 defensive end, and he could run a 4.37, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, just something crazy. But he had no confidence in himself. He was young, and I don't know, what his high school coaches were like, but our DN coach was kind of big brother to him. I mean, always hyping him up. And we were doing a drill in practice, and I was with the defensive ends that day, and they were just going one-on-one against the offensive line, trying to get back to the quarterback, get into the pocket. And he would always try to swim out of a block or something like that, and it just wasn't working for him, and he would get frustrated. And I was like, "Look, man, you're huge, first of all, 6'5", 250 if we're rounding up, and you're really fast. And he's strong if he's got those metrics. And I've seen what he did in the weight room, so I know he was strong. I was like, just go bull rush this guy. and you'll have him on his butt because this offensive lineman he's going up against, like, I obviously knew him, his practice, and he was always off balance. So it's like a bull rush is pretty standard on that. It's like, just go do it. And he's 20 years old, not thinking about that. And he did. The guy fell and he got back into the pocket and he turned around and looked at me like shocked that it worked. And I was like, bro, like, you
like,
gotta know.
Most obvious like thing ever.
Solution.
Right?
Yeah, but it was cool. It's like, you know how teachers talk about a light bulb moment, that being their favorite thing about teaching. That's how it was for coaching. It's just working with those guys, and when it clicked, it was just that's what you do it for.
And that's really honestly pretty awesome, because it does go to show you that, like, sometimes it really takes somebody else sort of believing in you, or it just takes somebody kind of believing in you, encouraging somebody else. Because I mean, like you said, that dude had all the physical tools in the world, but for some reason he couldn't see himself that way. Like, you just need those people sometimes. So, a little kudos to you for being that person for that guy.
Well, thank you.
For other people as well. So let's get into some of the matchup talk. Okay, I was reading this weekend actually, and I've seen it a few other places, that now the Titans have actually overtaken the Packers as the top offense in the NFL.
Taking over the Chiefs, man.
And the Packers were number one at first, I thought.
That's right.
The Packers
and then
I think for a while, and then I think then the Chiefs may have jumped it there for like a game or something, but then you guys jumped over them. But most of the season, they have been the Packers. And and I was talking to a friend last night. I was like, we were trying to talk about like how the Packers will win or how this game will go. And I said, as confident as you feel about this Packers offense, you should be as equally terrified of this Tennessee Titans offense, because that's how good they are. They might not have a future Hall of Famer at quarterback, but they might have a future Hall of Fame running back. So it's like, you definitely need to people. I don't think people are really aware of how good Tannehill has been playing this year, how good AJ Brown and Corey Davis are as a tandem, and just how potent this offense is. So why don't you talk to us a little bit about that to start out?
Yeah, so I hope that some of the people that hate on me on Twitter see this, and I promoted out to my Twitter hoping they'd hop on, because a lot of people think that I don't like Ryan Tannehill. That's not the case. I just don't. I've seen people compare him to Aaron Rodgers, and you as a Packers fan is going to go, "Oh my God, like what?"
It doesn't make me cringe, but it's just like come on, that's a bit much.
Settle down, children. Like,
it's not as bad as some people in Vikings Twitter saying that Kirk Cousins is better than Aaron Rodgers. That's not nearly as cringy. But,
so they're just on drugs.
Yeah.
Got it. Like,
exactly.
I have not seen that. That's crazy. But there are a lot of Titans fans, and there's people that are in the Titans media saying Ryan Tannehill deserves to be in MVP conversations. Like, hell no. I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss. Am I allowed to cuss? Yeah. Okay, cool. Derrick Henry.
Oh yeah, you could.
Okay, I just want to make sure. I was like, I didn't know. I was trying to read through him. I figured it was fine. Derrick Henry is that guy.
I need Derrick Henry. A loud sign in the background.
You do.
Please cuss like neon.
Derrick Henry is that dude, and a lot of people say, "Well, why wasn't Derrick Henry performing before Ryan Tannehill got here?" Well, because Derrick Henry was benched for Dion Lewis, and Dion Lewis was trash here. Yes. So Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill complement each other really well, and that's all I've been saying all season is that tandem. You're talking about the AJ Brown, Corey Davis tandem, which is phenomenal. Talk about that Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry tandem, because they play off each other so well. I was watching a YouTube video actually that it was somebody that plays Madden, and that's all they do on YouTube. But he was playing as the Tennessee Titans. And he was like, man, when I play like this offense is unstoppable. And what it is he ran the numbers, and over 400 passing plays for the season, we run almost 200 play action. So the run is always an option, and people fail to realize that. So as long as Derrick Henry's cooking, I'm not worried about the rest. Am I worried about AJ dropping up in 24-degree weather? Yeah, I am. It's supposed to be cold up there with y'all.
Does he have a history of the dropsies? Is that kind of one of his things?
He drops really big ones.
Okay.
like really big ones. So, and that's
we're not talking about in the bathroom, folks.
No, like he does that. He did it in Florida when it was 85 degrees. So like, it's not, it's not, oh, it's chilly in Tennessee. It's just, for whatever reason, when it gets here, he loses that connection. And, I don't know what it is, but we have something that people don't talk about a lot is our tight end game. Our tight ends, it's just shuffle.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
They're talented.
Okay.
They're not big names, but like Anthony Ferkser, you know who that is?
No, I do not know.
See, that's our go-to guy on third down, and he gets it almost every time. So watch out for him.
Okay, that's look. I'm gonna put that on. I'm gonna do players to watch. He's an Anthony
Ferkser.
How you spell that?
Firkser.
Okay, Anthony Ferkser, tight end. Okay, I'm getting some inside information. That's how I'm going to bring you on. We're getting the scoop from Anna _Lewis 35 on Twitter. You guys can add her. You can get all your, you can follow her if you want to talk some trash during the game on Sunday night. You can get at her. If you guys maybe want to get any more inside information before the big day, she's got it all. And we're talking about, I guess, players to watch for the Tennessee team. You mentioned Ryan Tannehill. You mentioned this tight end Anthony Fisker, but I wanted to talk about Ryan Tannehill a little bit more because I'm actually because you were saying, and I think maybe we got a little sidetracked, but you were just saying that you think he's like a game manager, right? And I've seen you say that about him on Twitter, and you, like you said, you kind of catch some flack for that, but you also preface that or with a little asterisk saying like you don't mean that in a negative way. And I know exactly what you mean, because I think game manager, it used to really have a negative connotation, and I feel like it still does. But when you say game manager, talk to me a little bit about why you think Tannehill is a game manager. And then would you say he is, of the managers of the game, would you put him at the top there? Do you think he's one of the better game managers in the NFL?
Absolutely. So I think he's top 10, which that's not a crazy thing to say. Yeah.
No, I don't think it's crazy at all. I would confidently say that he's, and he's closer to the 5, closer to that 5 area than the 10. So I completely agree.
I agree. So I mean, obviously there's some untouchables, but he's probably 7, 8, 9 in there. It depends on the week, but I mean, he puts up good numbers. But here's the thing, like people probably want to kill me at this point, but ever since Ryan Tannehill,
this is a safe space. You can talk
until they've come find me.
Well, I mean, we're not gonna. This show's only be about an hour and a half at top. So after that, I can't protect you.
I'm out of safe space. Yeah.
While you're here, you're safe.
I appreciate it. So,
you're welcome.
Since Ryan Tannehill has taken over our offense last year, Derrick Henry has been playing as well.
Yeah.
And if Derrick Henry doesn't have 100 yards or more, we're 5-7. If he has over 100 yards, we're 14-2.
Yeah.
So
it's a good stat.
That's all I need. Like I had somebody call me elementary last week or a couple days ago for saying that was all I needed. But you can say Ryan Tannehill is leading the top offense in the NFL with this and this and this. That's great. Mm-hmm. But who on his team is helping him look like that?
Yeah.
It's not all him. When it's Aaron Rodgers up there with whatever receivers you've had the past several years, it's Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean?
Or the coach who now couldn't even win a handful of games in Dallas.
Yeah.
So it's like you kind of even go back and say, maybe Rodgers was a little more instrumental in the success of this team over the last decade, more than maybe some others want to give him credit for. Back to your Titans, okay, and Tannehill and him managing the game. I agree with what you said. I mean, but at the same time, I think that is honestly like some beautiful football, and I honestly wish the Packers would adapt a little more of that philosophy.
So one thing that I think people are failing to acknowledge when they want to come at me for my take on Ryan Tannehill. So if you look at our playoff run last year, I don't know if you watched any of those games, but they were Derrick Henry dominant games. They were also great defensive games.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're struggling this year.
Mhm.
But as far as like rushing versus passing yards against Baltimore, New England was first. So against New England, we had 201 rushing yards,
Yeah.
71 passing yards.
Right.
Against Baltimore, we had 217 rushing yards, 83 passing yards.
Right.
And then you go to Kansas City, they hold Derrick Henry down to 85, which is still a good running back performance.
I mean, yeah.
Like, you can't get upset about that, but all they did was load the box, and then we just froze. Tannehill still had over 200 yards, but it was 210, and we didn't win.
Yeah.
So you can't depend on Tannehill. When I say someone's a game manager, it's because I know I can't depend on that person to win. We needed Tannehill to win that game, and he didn't. And the games that we've lost this year have been for that reason.